Netflix's live-action Avatar series is in some hot water after some interviews came out from the cast. They decided to take the series in a completely different direction by cutting out all of the character development that the characters experience throughout the entire series. A huge example is the actor that played Sokka claims that they are cutting out all of Sokka's sexism, which is so fucking funny because Sokka is sexist for like 2 episodes and there's explanation for it, and his sexism is literally like grade school level. They didn't say they're going to remove it, they said they're going to tone it down, but to tone down his sexism would literally be, instead of saying men are stronger than women, which is what he says and then is proven wrong, he's gonna be like, girls have cooties. That's really the only way you could tone down that sentiment. Also, he learns this lesson in the 4th episode of the entire series. Sokka's character is very interesting. All of the men in Sokka's village left when he was a kid. So his understanding of being a man comes from literally a child's understanding of how to be a man. And those ideas are very quickly challenged as soon as he leaves his tribe. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original series, did a wonderful thing of explaining trauma and explaining how children would react and grow up in a time of war, and how their personalities would develop because of that fact. Sokka has a very machismo, very like, man, I'm a strong man attitude about him, because he had to have that, because he was a child that was left in the village so all the men could go to war, and then he therefore was the only man in the village in his eyes. So he had to basically become a man in his eyes. In his eyes, he's wanted to be a warrior, he wants to be a strong leader, but it still is a child's understanding of how to be a warrior and how to be a man. And you see the development of that throughout the series, where even just as soon as he leaves, he meets the Kyoshi warriors. They show him, hey, women can be warriors too. And in fact, they can be better warriors than men, which completely challenges Sokka's understanding of how the world works. In his mind, men are the warriors and women stay home, because that's how he was taught in his village. But then he gets his ass kicked by Suki immediately and is proven, oh yeah, women are strong too. And that's the end of Sokka's sexism arc. 4 episodes into this 55 episode series. So for them to be like, we're toning it down and his actions weren't appropriate. He is a teenage boy trying to go into the world with his very small village understanding. And then he realizes that the best way to become a good warrior and to grow is to have an open mind about things. Women can be warriors too, guys. It's 2024. They basically are cutting out Sokka's growth and the catalyst for what later in the series turns him into an actual great warrior and a leader. It all stems from the Kyoshi warriors teaching him that he has a lot to learn and that he should keep an open mind when it comes to the way the world works. It basically teaches them to have an open mind. Yeah, they can still kind of get that lesson across. I don't see how they're going to, because the whole catalyst for the growth is the fact that he challenges the women of Kyoshi and thinks that he's stronger than them. And then they all just beat the shit out of him. I don't know how that's gonna, are they just gonna beat the shit out of him with no provocation? Because then that just makes them look bad. I can very clearly see what they're trying to do with this series, because if you go back and watch the first season, the first half of the season especially has a very light tone because they didn't know what the rest of the series is going to be like. However, once you get to the end of the first season, second and third season, it gets a more serious tone because you know what the plot is. The world's going to end if Aang doesn't master all the elements. It's very, very simple plot. The thing that makes that very simple plot of we have to go beat the bad guy in this time frame is the characters and how they develop under those circumstances, which They don't have to anymore. They're just going to be fully developed from episode 1. Also, there's no Sozin's Comet, which is literally the whole reason that they have to rush. Like, the whole reason that it's like there's any stakes in the show. Because without Sozin's Comet, it's like, okay, this war that's been going on for 100 years is just going to keep going on. Whereas with the comet, it creates the catalyst of, oh, this comet will actually end the war in the favor of the genocidal maniacs. They are not cool with Sokka being a elementary school level sexist where he thinks men are stronger than women for a single episode. But they have very proudly exclaimed that they are, for the first time ever, going to show the entire genocide of the air nomads. Something that is only hinted at because the original series is a kid's show. You can't show a genocide in a kid's show. But this is a serious show for Netflix. This is a Netflix drama. So we need to see some old ass monks get fucking killed. Crazy style. They're going to get burned alive, literally, because that's what happens. Don't be rude to a woman for a single episode and then you look like the bad guy and learn a lesson. No, that's too bad. But killing a bunch of unarmed monks, yeah, that's fine. That's going to be cool. Everyone's clamoring for that. Every Avatar fan, after they watched the entire series, said, I wish more old guys got murdered for no reason. So yeah, there's no Sozin Comet. Sokka doesn't have any character development. What about the other characters? We'll do Katara, because I'll save Aang for last. Although, I don't know if they're calling him Aang or Aang. They might as well at this point, because they're really going the path of M. Night Shyamalan's adaptation. It's basically M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, the sequel. So Katara, the characteristics they are getting rid of from her and saying are weird is that she is like motherly in nature. I kind of understand what they're talking about because their whole concept is women can be more than just a mother. Katara's character, she wasn't a mother. She was just like a motherly figure because their mother died, so she took the role of it. Something that happens in actual real life in trauma situations with siblings. I don't know if the showrunners have siblings, but sometimes if you're in a broken home, one of the siblings will try and take the place of the parent, basically, to and that's what we saw on display in Avatar. Katara and Sokka lost their mother at a very young age, and then every man in the village went off to war. Katara had to raise Sokka, her older brother, because if she didn't do it, no one else would. And every other woman in the village was older and were busy surviving, doing their own thing. They couldn't raise Sokka. And because of that, we're going to miss out on one of the most heartwarming moments in the entire series. The moment where Sokka and Toph are talking, which they're not getting to fucking season 2. There's no chance. With the changes they're making, there's no way they're getting to season 2 or 3. There's a moment in the original series where Sokka and Toph are talking, and Toph is very upset because Katara keeps nagging her about clean up after yourself and go wash yourself. Things that mothers might do, go clean your room type stuff. And Toph gets really annoyed and has a fight with her about it. Toph goes to Sokka and complains about this. Unbeknownst to them, Katara is below them listening in on this. And Sokka talks about how when their mother died, Katara took the place, basically, to the point in which when Sokka thinks about his own mother, he cannot remember her face. He can only see Katara's face in place of who his mother was.
I'm gonna tell you something crazy. I never told anyone this before. But honestly, I'm not sure I can remember what my mother looked like. It really seems like my whole life, Katara's been the one looking out for me. She's always been the one that's there. And now, when I try to remember my mom, Katara's is the only face I can picture.
And it's a very sad and heartwarming moment, which is now completely gone in the series because why would a sibling have to take the place of a parent? That's not something that happens in real life. Oh. So what about Aang? Surely the main character of the show, the name of the show is Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Last Airbender is Aang. So what what did they change about Aang? Well, Aang in the original series is a 12-year-old boy who does not want to be the Avatar. He gets trapped in ice for 100 years and comes out. He's completely oblivious to the time that has gone by. Especially for the first season, like the first few episodes at least, he just has no concept of, I've just spent 100 years in ice and everyone I know is dead. In his mind, he probably still has a home to go to. He still has a air temple to go to. So he's still like a child. He likes adventure. He likes running around. His whole thing is when he woke up from the ice, he asks Katara if she wants to go penguin sledding with him. That's the first words out of his mouth. The showrunners decided, no, that's bad. And a main character having a yearning for adventure? No, absolutely not. We have story beats to hit. They are completely erasing his sense of adventure. He has no want or need to take any detours on his adventure. He is just going to go straight to where he needs to go. The catalyst in the original show is Aang needs to go to the Northern Water Tribe with Katara so that they can both master waterbending. But when they first set off, there's no stakes because it's like, yeah, the war's been going on for 100 years. They're not going to end it tomorrow. This kid's 12. He needs to learn how to throw water at people first before he takes on the fire guys. So they're heading there. And then while they're heading there, a bunch of stuff happens leading to them discovering that Sozin's Comet is coming and whatnot. However, in the Netflix series, they basically said that Aang is going to have a vision telling him what's going to happen in the Northern Water Tribe, like the whole Fire Nation attacking them and killing the moon spirits. He gets a vision of that. So now, instead of like, so they've replaced all the character development, and in order to move the plot forward, they just made it so that Aang can tell the future now. Like, I don't even understand. The original show is beloved. You don't have to follow it exactly. To cut out so much character development and then just say, oh yeah, Aang doesn't want to go have fun anymore. This 12-year-old doesn't want to have fun anymore. So now he saw a vision of everyone in the water temple getting fucking murdered, and now he has to go save them. It's crazy to like completely cut out all of the things that make these characters beloved. Not saying Sokka's sexism makes him beloved, but it is the catalyst that makes him learn to be a better person and learn to have an open mind and to become a great leader because of it. It leads to that. As simple as it is, the act of him getting his shit rocked by Suki makes him go on this journey to realize, oh yeah, I got a lot to learn if I'm going to lead people in the future like I want to, if I want to be a great warrior of the Southern Water Tribe. And the weirdest part is all of the actors that are playing these characters are talking about the flaws of the original characters as if they're something disgusting and they're something that is some of the past. They use an example of like, yeah, like 15 years ago, things were very different. So when we're doing this series, we have to make it more modern. Sexism still exists. So to have a character that is like cartoon sexism, like girls weak, boys strong, 4 episodes in to learn, oh, that's a dumb point of view. Instead, you're just going to skip that lesson altogether because it apparently should just be known. And it's like, well, if it was known, sexism wouldn't exist anymore. If everyone was like, yeah, you shouldn't be sexist. But this is like, it's character development. It shows the growth of the character. But yeah, all the actors are acting like, yeah, like, you know, Katara being motherly towards Sokka, isn't that freaking weird? Why would she do that? Their mother's dead. Get over it. The final nail in the coffin for me is that the showrunner came out and said, we're making a Netflix drama. This isn't going to be like the original series. This is more like Game of Thrones. We're trying to make it more like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones sucked a lot. It was good for a while, but then it was really bad. So to use that as an example of how you want your show to be is insane. The original series was dramatic enough. Just add a little more violence to it, I guess, and then you'll get your freaking adult what is the ratings? TVMA rating? All you have to do is retell the story, but not shy away from the violence like the original did, because they couldn't show somebody getting murdered. You can have your showrunner make his weird fetish about these air monks getting murdered by Fire Nation and then brag all about it. You could show that. That's fine. To completely get rid of the characterization and to like basically rush the plot for seemingly no reason other than all of the fun stuff that made this a beloved series. Yeah, it's too kid-like. It's very funny because the stigma has existed, and I'm convinced it will always exist. People see cartoons, even the most violent and adult cartoons, and say, that's for kids. And they're doing the same thing with Avatar. Yes, the series is for kids, but everyone that grew up on that series still watch it to this day. I've rewatched the entire series 4 or 5 times in my adulthood, and I watched it as it aired. And you know what I do when I watch it as an adult? I enjoy it. It's very well written and well made. It's a huge telling sign that the original creators of the series stepped away from this project nearly 3 years ago already. It's very clear that they were not going to have any say over what the direction was. It was going to be taken over by people that seemingly never watched the original series or have the media comprehension skills of can't even say like a 12-year-old, because when I was 12 and watching it, I understood it. So for the showrunners to be like, yeah, all these faults that these characters have that then make them grow into better people, they shouldn't have the faults. They should just be better people. They want the characters that end the series to be the characters that start the series, which are different characters. Aang, Katara, Sokka are not the same people you see in episode 1 than the people you see in the final episode. They've gone through a whole journey and they've learned a lot about life and themselves and the people around them and how the world in general works. But they don't want that. They just want characters that know everything that's going on, and they don't have to learn. Because why do you need to learn when you just are already perfect? The whole point of the series is for Aang to learn all the elements and to grow from that. Why not just make the series so that he knows all of them from the beginning at that point? It's so dumb. And it's even worse because they did it right with the One Piece live action series. The One Piece live action series was fantastic. They cut out a lot of stuff, but they kept the fucking heart. And it shows because Oda was involved with that project. He wouldn't allow the project without his say on all of the major stuff, at least. All the details, that's whatever. But all the major stuff, he was like, it has to be right. The original showrunners for Avatar walked away almost immediately. It's gonna be remembered as something that is probably, it's just probably gonna be disappointing. It looks nice, like I see the trailers. The CGI is fantastic. Okay, there's no substance to it. It's surface level at best, especially when your characters don't have any development or anything. Nothing happens to them. The only thing that happens to them is the plot happens. You just wrote the plot to continue forward, but it's not about the destination. It's about the journey that takes you to that destination. That was the whole point of the series. The episodes that were greatest had nothing to do with the plot. Like Tales of Ba Sing Se doesn't bring the plot forward at all. It just shows a bunch of what the characters are doing on a regular day in Ba Sing Se. And it's one of the most beloved episodes of all time. People are now memeing on this where they're like, oh, Toph isn't even going to be blind because if they can't get an actress that's blind, it's ableism. So why would they even bother with putting Toph in the series? Like, it's getting to the point where they're memeing it to where like, oh, we cut out Iroh's son because it's kind of sad that his son died in war. And Leaves from the Vine, what is this, a musical? I might watch it through other means. I don't give Netflix a dime, period, ever. They're an evil, shitty company. But maybe I'll watch an episode when it comes out. Maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I love Avatar. It's an incredible series. Just getting mad about the live action series is pushing me towards rewatching the whole series again. But yeah, I want this to be good. I know I made a rant video talking about how bad it's probably going to be, but in my heart of hearts, I want this series to be good. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Write your favorite part of Avatar in the comments if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch the original series. Very good. Highly recommend. One of the best animated shows of all time. I'm Hugh. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. And until next time, peace out.